I'm Tracy Baxter with today's Record News Watch. Firefighters in Newberg think they know what touched off a blaze that left a dozen people homeless overnight. The fire burned through the roof and destroyed the upper portion of the three-story apartment house at number 488 Liberty Street. It apparently started from food cooking in a second-floor apartment in the rear of the building. All of the occupants got out okay. There was a report that a fireman had to be taken to St. Luke's Cornwall Hospital for treatment of smoke inhalation. The Red Cross was working to find temporary shelter for the victims. It's encouraging news for the Orange County residents who ride the rails to their jobs in New York City. Metro North officials have pushed up the date when full service will be restored on the Port Jervis line. Sections of the rail line between Harriman and Suffern were washed out by floodwaters from the Ramapo River during Tropical Storm Irene. The repair timeline had called for full restoration of service early next year, then by the end of December. Now, Metro North President Howard Permit says full train service will begin November 28th. The repair work will end up costing between $30 and $40 million. Commuters have needed to take buses for a portion of their trip. The goal was to bring awareness to a type of tragedy that all too often isn't talked about. On Saturday, about 100 people gathered in Kanianga Lake to take part in a 3-mile fundraising walk called Out of the Darkness, the latest in a series of walks held this month to draw attention to suicide in hopes families can spot warning signs and prevent future loss of life. Saturday's walk was organized by Patty Sweet, whose 25-year-old son Richard Puckett took his own life in July of 2010. Richard's brother Dylan came home from college to take part and to honor the memory of his brother.
He was a great kid, you know. I spoke to him like 4 or 5 times a day. And after he passed away, it's been hard, you know. Haven't had anybody to talk to.
I know when my son passed away, I didn't want to open up and say why he passed away because I wanted to hide it from everybody. And I think that's what it is. You're just embarrassed and you don't want to say what the cause of the death is and everything like that. And people need to know that there's help out there that can help you and help you through it and help the people that are going through issues and stuff like that.
The Sullivan County Out of the Darkness walk raised about $4,000, money that will be used to support suicide prevention, research, and education. Throughout his legendary career, Hudson Valley folk singer Pete Seeger's spoken out frequently against corporate greed. Friday night, the 92-year-old Seeger was among those taking part in another Occupy Wall Street protest in New York City. Seeger, walking with 2 canes, marched more than 30 blocks during the peaceful rally that also featured him singing "We Shall Overcome," along with the chant "We Are the 99%. The Occupy Wall Street events began a month ago and have spread across the country to protest the lack of jobs and the disparity in incomes between most Americans and corporate leaders. Could you use an IV pole? How about a rocking chair or an emergency room bed? They are just a few of the more than 2,000 items on the auction block at the former Middletown and Goshen Hospital buildings, the former locations of the old Orange Regional Medical Center. What are still in the buildings are surplus pieces of equipment that are being auctioned off online.
A variety of pieces of equipment like blood pressure cuffs, bedside trays, tables, things like that. And it's really a chance to get rid of some of this old material.
Rasmus Online Auctions is handling the sell-off. People could inspect the items today, everything from a backhoe, transport vehicle, and an assortment of equipment from various hospital departments. The internet-only bidding ends tomorrow. Those who run the region's food pantries and soup kitchens are saying the same thing during these tough economic times. More people are stopping in to get needed food, supplies, or a hot meal. And it's not just homeless anymore. It's also the working poor, people who have jobs but can no longer make ends meet. The growing need made Sunday's Crop Hunger Walk in Middletown even more important. About 250 people took part to raise money for CROP, which stands for Citizens Responding to Others' Poverty. 25% of the Crop Walk proceeds will go to local soup kitchens and the emergency housing shelter. The other 75% will go to help starving people around the world.
One great thing about CROP is it does not just give out food. It gives possibilities to people to drill wells so they can irrigate their land and grow more food and maybe even sell some of it to get some income for their families. And it also just sometimes even it can be providing loans for people so that they can get started back on their feet.
There are billions, not millions, billions of people in this world who are food insecure. In this country, we don't hear about people starving to death very often. In the rest of the world, whom we should be caring about, there are millions who starve on a regular basis.
The Greater Middletown Interfaith Council was a sponsor of Sunday's 3-mile walk that raised about $15,000 for the worldwide fight against hunger. And Sunday was not a good day for Robert Benjamin. Port Jervis police arrested the 41-year-old city resident for stealing an exotic bird from Talwager's pet store. Officers say Benjamin had shoved the cockatiel into his pocket. He's also accused of stealing a bottle of vodka from a local liquor store. Then, after being brought into the station, police say video surveillance caught Benjamin stealing money from someone else who'd been locked up. He was sent to jail on 3 counts of petty larceny. Rainy weather is in the forecast for the middle part of the week. As for tomorrow, it'll be sunny for most of the day with temperatures rising into the mid-60s. Wednesday will be cloudy with periods of light rain. The highs will reach the low 60s. Keep visiting Record Online to stay on top of breaking news, and you'll find out what's happening locally and around the world when you pick up tomorrow's Times Herald Record. For Record Newswatch, I'm Tracy Baxter.